3 rockets have already failed. 1 more failure, and payroll stops. The 4th vehicle stands on the pad in the Pacific, fueled and silent. You are responsible for the guidance system. 4 minutes after liftoff, your software decides whether the company survives. You don't work in headlines. You work in decimals. It is humid air, salt corrosion, and equipment that never feels fully dry. The launch pad is narrow. The integration hangar smells faintly of metal and insulation foam. You have been living on island time for months, though nothing about the schedule feels relaxed. This is Falcon 1. After-stage liquid-fueled rocket designed to prove that a private company can reach orbit. SpaceX does not have infinite capital. It has investors watching closely and a founder who has already committed most of his personal fortune. You joined because the math made sense. Reusable rockets were the long-term goal, but first you had to survive. The first launch failed after 25 seconds. A corroded nut allowed a fuel leak. Fire reached the engine bay. The second made it further. Stage separation failed cleanly, but residual thrust caused recontact between stages. The third reached stage separation again. This time, timing drifted by less than a second. It was enough. The stages collided. You reviewed the telemetry each time. You did not look for someone to blame. You looked for error propagation. Your domain is guidance, navigation, and control. GNC. Your software reads inertial measurement units, gyroscopes, accelerometers. It filters vibration noise. It calculates attitude adjustments in milliseconds. It commands engine gimbal angles to keep thrust vector aligned. A rocket does not forgive drift. If pitch exceeds limits during max Q, aerodynamic stress multiplies. If stage separation timing misaligns, velocity vectors do not cooperate. If the second stage ignites off-axis, the vehicle tumbles. The 4th rocket incorporates dozens of corrections, improved Merlin engine chamber stability, refined separation timing logic, modified residual thrust modeling. You rewrote a section of the guidance filter to better compensate for slosh dynamics in the first stage tank. Propellant moves. It shifts center of mass. Your equations must anticipate motion before sensors. Launch window approaches, weather acceptable. Upper-level winds within predicted variance. You run final simulations on a laptop that has traveled more miles than most commercial pilots. Monte Carlo runs 10,000 randomized perturbations, 96% reach second-stage ignition without control instability. 4% show divergence under extreme sensor noise. You tighten filter constraints slightly. Now 97.2% converge. There is no such thing as 100%. T minus 10 minutes. You sit at a folding table with a headset pressing into your ear. Telemetry streams across your screen in narrow columns. Voltage levels, tank pressures, IMU bias readings. You do not watch the rocket, you watch numbers. T-0 ignition, the Merlin engine ramps to full thrust. Hold down clamps release. Acceleration builds. Vibration signatures spike, then stabilize. Pitch program initiates at T plus a few seconds. Roll angle adjusts to correct azimuth. Your guidance solution updates 50 times per second. Altitude increasing nominally, max Q approaching. Dynamic pressure peaks. Structural loads within tolerance. The vehicle passes through the region that destroyed the first attempt. No fire. No anomalous temperature rise. Stage 1 burnout. Main engine cutoff. Separation command issued. For a fraction of a second, you remember the third flight. Residual thrust had not been fully modeled. This time, ullage motors fire with revised timing. Stages drift apart cleanly. Second stage ignition. Chamber pressure stable. Attitude control thrusters firing in brief pulses to damp rotation. You monitor yaw drift within limits. Velocity building. Orbit is not achieved at liftoff. It is earned in silence at T plus 9 minutes. Second stage burn continues. Propellant levels decreasing toward predicted curves. You calculate projected apogee and perigee from live telemetry. Numbers update. Target orbit requires approximately 7.8 kilometers per second. Velocity approaches threshold. Engine shutdown. For a moment, data pauses as tracking shifts. Then new telemetry confirms. Apogee above 600 kilometers. Perigee above atmosphere. You check twice. Orbital insertion confirmed. No cheering in your headset at first. Just breathing. Then restrained voices. You remove your hand from the keyboard slowly. The fourth launch succeeded. The company does not collapse. But survival changes the scale of risk. Years later, you sit in another control room. Larger screens, more structured consoles. Falcon 9 stands on the pad. Falcon 9, this vehicle is more powerful. 9 engines on the first stage, autonomous flight termination systems, refined guidance algorithms built on lessons from Falcon 1. The mission is routine on paper. Deliver payload to orbit. Then attempt something previously dismissed as impractical. Bring the first stage back. Re-entry burns must slow a descending cylinder traveling faster than sound. Grid fins must steer through turbulent air. A final landing burn must ignite at precisely calculated altitude. You are no longer proving survival. You are attempting reusability. Economic viability depends on it. Your guidance models now include atmospheric density variation across altitude bands. You account for wind shear, thrust-to-weight changes as propellant drains, engine relight reliability. Descent begins. First stage separation clean. Boost back burn ignites. Trajectory curves toward an autonomous drone ship waiting in the Atlantic. Re-entry burn. Plasma forms around the descending stage. Telemetry momentarily noisy. You trust filters you wrote years ago on a folding table in the Pacific. Grid fins deploy. Stage rotates to a vertical orientation. Altitude decreasing rapidly. Landing burn command scheduled. If ignition occurs too early, propellant runs out before touchdown. Too late, impact velocity exceeds structural tolerance. The algorithm calculates throttle setting in real time. Engine ignites, velocity decays, altitude drops through 100 meters. 50, 10. The stage touches the deck. For a second, it leans slightly, then stabilizes. You do not raise your arms. You verify landing telemetry. Engine cutoff confirmed. Attitude stable. The rocket stands upright on a floating platform. Reusability is no longer theoretical. You think back to the island. Humidity, corrosion, folding tables. 3 failures, 1 more and everything would have ended. Control in aerospace is always partial. You model risk. You reduce uncertainty. You accept that combustion instability, metal fatigue, software drift, or sensor bias can still override equations. The public sees launches, milliseconds. Survival was never about spectacle. It was about iteration. Now, in a quieter moment long after celebrations fade, a younger engineer reviews simulation outputs for a future vehicle, bigger than Falcon 9. Fully reusable, ambitious beyond anything attempted before. He studies engine clustering stability and structural resonance frequencies. One variable trends slightly outside expectation. He hesitates before flagging it. He reruns the simulation. The deviation persists. It starts small. It always does. A drift, a number that refuses to settle. You close your console and stand. Rockets rise because thousands of small decisions align. They fail when one is ignored. Somewhere on a pad, another vehicle waits. Fueled, silent, and someone is watching the numbers.